Hey guys, this is Adrian with Ride Engineering. We're out here at State Fair MX, and I want to show you guys all the modifications we did to our 2020 Ride Engineering KTM450SXF. Our test rider today is Lipanovich, and I asked Sean to help us out because he's been riding KTM 450s for the last 5 years. He's also a test rider for Dirt Bike magazine. He weighs the same as me, and he won the 25 Pro class last year at the Vet World Championship. So while Sean's out riding the bike, I'm going to go through all the modifications that we made to it. Most of the modifications I'm going to talk about today target comfort. KTM stiffened the frame in 2019, and that's why this is so important now. I'm going to start with some of the bolt-on products that make the biggest difference, and then we will talk about the suspension and the rest of the modifications that we made. New Ride Engineering split triple clamps. Those are going to make a big difference in comfort. They flex a lot better than stock. They flex better than the WP factory clamps. We don't lose any handling. And the other thing we've done to our triple clamps is we've given them a different bar position from stock. They're a little bit closer to the rider. So that actually makes it more comfortable for shorter riders, and the taller guys can actually try the forward position, and it won't be quite as far forward as the stock position. Next, we changed the handlebars. We went to the Protaper Husqavarna bend bars. They're just more flexy and more comfortable than the stock neck-ins. We added our stabilizer bracket kit, and that thing helps reduce arm fatigue, and it just allows the rider to push a little bit harder for a longer period of time. You can see we've got some FCP engine mounts on here, and they improve comfort when the track gets really rough, like at Glen Helen in the afternoon. And in the back, we have our axle block kit, and that helps deaden the feel of the rear wheel, and it makes it a little more forgiving. And how that works is the axle block is actually floating, and we use a CRF axle, and that combination just gives it a more forgiving feel. Now I want to talk to you guys about suspension. I contacted Mark Johnson from REP, and we worked together on this, and after a couple of revalves, he got our forks working incredibly well. These aren't just the best air forks I've ever had, these are the best forks I've ever had. Mark was able to stiffen up the mid valve and get rid of the tendency of this bike to have some weird handling traits like the production fork does. The shock is good, but not quite as impressive as the fork. But by adding our full linkage, we were able to improve the shock on acceleration chop and make it better through braking bumps. And we do that because our full linkage has a much linear curve than stock. The disadvantage of that is it does bottom out easier, so we recommend a 1 stiffer spring rate when running our linkage. We also have the full linkage available for the 2021 with the SKF seals.
Hey, what's up? This is Lipanovich trying out the Ride Engineering KTM 450. I was pretty impressed with all the new updates on there. The suspension, the clamps, the linkage, everything worked great the first few laps, and I was really impressed with the air forks. As of right now, I am using REP suspension. I have the cone valves and the track shock and the WP triple clamps. I was really impressed with this setup right here. Like I said, it's by far the best air fork and clamps I've tried to date. I use the Ride Engineering linkage. For me, it feels a lot more planted on the ground. When I'm on the gas coming out of turns, the acceleration chop is a lot better than the stock linkage. When I'm jumping with the Ride Engineering linkage, I use a lot more travel, and I like to use the full travel of the bike. I don't think there's a negative to the Ride Engineering linkage. I think it's all positive all the way around. I enjoyed riding this bike. It felt comfortable to me, you know? I feel like I could go and race it.
Let's talk about the engine. These 450s really don't need much. I wanted to try something different. I contacted Akrapovic and I wanted to get one of their exhaust systems, but I didn't really get a reply, so I just went ahead and bought one. One thing I'd say is the exhaust system is very expensive. However, it is pretty good. It's got good bottom, it's got good over rev, it's very quiet, which I really like, and it saves 2 pounds. The other thing we did is we had Twisted Development map our ignition. The power increase was actually really noticeable. So we wanted to make the bike a little more rideable, and that's when we added the Protaper 1452 sprockets. Those kind of create a ratio of about a half a tooth lower, and that just smooths out the power and makes it feel more electric. On the brakes, I mean, the stock Brembos are really good. We just went up to our 270 rotor kit. It's the same kit that the Rocky Mountain ATV team races with. And I went ahead and replaced the stock brake lines with the Ride Engineering black braided lines just for the looks.
The motor for me was, the bike was actually really quiet. I'm used to my stock silencer is a little bit louder. This one was definitely a lot quieter and the power was real smooth. Easy bike to ride because it was smooth power and the suspension and everything worked great on the bike. I was really surprised with the front brake rotor kit. The 270 kit from Ride Engineering was a lot more powerful than the Brembo stock brakes. The KTM stock brakes are actually really good, but with the 270, you can definitely feel a difference.
Obviously, we're running Bridgestone tires. I love the Bridgestone tires for motocross. They pretty much work in everything. We've got the tie Raptor pegs on here because they really help you keep your feet planted. I've been using Maxima racing oils for about 5 years now, and it's really great. I change the oil at every 10 hours and it comes out clean. And how awesome does this bike look with the black and orange Acerbis plastics and the Motorcuts graphics? Well, that's it. These are all the modifications that we recommend to get the most out of your KTM or Husqvarna. Thanks for watching.
I rode a lot of the Ride Engineering bikes in the past. By far, this is my favorite bike personally.